Hi, welcome to Julius Bar. Today we're gonna answer a really important question. What's the opaque drink they have in Bridgerton? Season 2. Bridgerton Season 2. I saw them drinking at some parties at least a couple of times a really opaque white drink. What is it? I have two answers to propose you. One, most likely and boring. And a second one, less likely and definitely more fun. So let's start with the first boring answer, which is it's probably an Orgeat Lemonade, I would think. They also mention lemonade in some other parts during the show, and so let's just make one. I'm gonna squeeze one lemon, and I'm gonna squeeze it here because I wanna measure exactly how much juice I get. Okay, let's see how much juice from that one lemon. About 40 milliliters. 40 milliliters. Now let's add the Orgeat. I will add like maybe 30 milliliters of Orgeat. I don't want this to be extremely sweet. No, actually, let's do it equal parts. I'm gonna add 10 more milliliters of Orgeat. I think it tasted fine, but maybe a bit too sharp for those young girls. And also we're gonna get a better color. Tasty. So 40 milliliters of lemon, 40 milliliters of Orgeat. Let's do 80 milliliters of water. 60. Now let's add some ice. Then let's stir this until it's nicely really chilled. In the meanwhile, I'm gonna tell you what I think about Bridgerton. I think it delivers exactly what you expect it will deliver. You see two persons having like sexual chemistry in the first 10 minutes of the show, and you know by the end of the show they are gonna end up in bed. But more of my thoughts later. And let's double strain in this fancy baccarat glass. And there you go, an Orgeat Lemonade. Equal parts Orgeat and lemon juice, 2 parts of water. Cheers. It's good. It's delicious. Yeah, I'm undecided if you should go for a bit less Orgeat than lemon juice or equal parts. This equal parts is pretty good, but to me it could be even a bit less. It's really refreshing. Our first non-alcoholic drink. Oh God. But it drinks really easy, and I think the color could totally fit what we saw in the show. Okay, this was the boring answer. Let's now get to the fun answer. Not likely, but let's do it. Let's store away this non-alcoholic stuff. And let's get to the real deal. Absinthe. Could they have drank Absinthe? I kinda don't think so, even though I don't know what girls were allowed to drink at parties? Were they allowed to have alcohol? Customs have changed quite a lot in 100, 200 years. So I don't quite know if they were allowed to drink. Absinthe was invented in 1795. The show takes place in 1813. So technically it's possible. Also, Absinthe got demonized and banned 100 years later, at the beginning of the 20th century. So I don't know what was the status of Absinthe in England at the beginning of the 19th century. Did they have imported it at all? Because the thing is, despite being extremely strong, if you dilute it quite a bit, it just becomes like a pastis. It becomes just a nice flavored light aperitif. You could have absinthe in a cocktail, but today we are gonna try to drink it in the traditional way. The traditional way would require a absinthe fountain or dripper, which is this contraption which keeps ice water in the middle and has little faucets where you can spill drops of water onto a sugar cube. I'm not gonna invest in an absinthe fountain because one, it takes too much space, two, it's freaking expensive, three, nobody in my house like absinthe, just me, so well, I don't need a fountain. So I decided to spend instead $5 and I went to the local warehouse and got a hose and one of these, actually it's two, of this thing that you use to split the flow of the water in your garden. Let me show you how I'm gonna use it. First of all, let's get some ice and let's make some ice water. Gonna fill it up with the water. My water here is from a different faucet which is actually filtered. They say to use distilled water. I don't know about that. I always thought distilled water tastes awful, but I don't know. Let's give it a stir. We want some really cold water. So it's gonna help to achieve that effect, the effect of an opaque white drink. This feels pretty chilly now. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna place it over here. Can you see it? You can barely see it, but it's here on the edge of my oven. Then I'm gonna take this receptacle, a glass. This glass is shaped vaguely like a real absinthe glass, but I think we're gonna make it work. Then we're gonna pour in our glass our absinthe. You can drink as much absinthe as you want, you can kill yourself with absinthe, but we are gonna go with 30 milliliters or 1 ounce because I just don't want to drink too much. One common figure is 1.5 ounces, but I'm not gonna drink that. This stuff comes at 68% ABV. So then we're gonna need an absinthe spoon, which is this shovel thing with holes in it, and we're gonna need a cube of sugar. I usually don't use white sugar, but this is the right time to use it. And then it's time for our hose. First of all, we need to fill this with water, so I'm gonna suck on it. Once it's filled, I'm gonna stop it. Maybe I better clip this. Let's clip this. Yes. Okay. We have to position this in a way that our stream of water is gonna hit the sugar cube. So first I'm gonna open two of the small drains on this side because I don't want our fruit to be too strong, and then I'm gonna open on this side. Yes. I think we made it. It's working. So now, the amount of water you need for the absinthe, it depends totally on your taste. I would think at least 2 parts water to 1 part absinthe, but let's see. And if everything goes right, as the cold water falls down, you should notice that the absinthe that before was completely transparent is start to develop an opaqueness and become white. Let's see if we have enough water. Maybe we need to regulate better our flow. Oh! Okay, it's over. Okay, not the best of methods, but I think we are right there. When you take your spoon and you finish mixing in the sugar that's left over, and let me taste how strong this thing still is. If it's it's nice. Let's move our contraption to the side and let's compare the two drinks. Actually, surprisingly similar color. They pretty much the same degree of opacity. Opacity? Is it opacity? Actually, you can drink absinthe and tell other people you're just having an orgeat. Let's try this. Pernod Absinthe. Cheers. It's good. Actually, maybe I put too much water. But like this is really drinkable. Last time I drank absinthe, I didn't put as much water. And it was more intense, more flavorful. But it was a bit heavy. Like this, it's a nice aperitif. One thing you can do, if you are like me and you are not a purist, would be to put some ice in your absinthe. Is this against the dogma of absinthe? Maybe. But to me, it helps keeping it cold and keeping it easy to drink. So there you go. What were we drinking in Bridgerton Season 2? Either an Orgeat Lemonade or Absinthe. Most likely the Orgeat Lemonade. But who knows? So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, subscribe, comment down below, share. And make yourself some weird drink with some weird apparatus. I hope to see you next time. Cheers. So, Bridgerton. You might wonder why I don't find it offensive. Because you might have thought that I will have some harsh criticism, and I have some criticism about Bridgerton. At some point, they did that thing that I hate, where all characters forget what their purpose is and don't tell each other anything, just to make the plot go in a certain direction, which is definitely don't have to go there. But beside that, as I said, he delivered exactly what he promises, which I think is good. Also, despite the story being in large part unbelievable, it is a fantasy world. I mean, there are all kind of races at the court of a queen. The queen is black. So, it is a fantasy world. The people are really hot. Extreme level of hotness. And they promise you a certain amount of male butts and female boobs, and you're gonna get them throughout the 10 episodes of a series. Also, one thing I appreciate is the production value. This series is really well done. I noticed some extremely pleasant bokeh, which is the out of focus area behind characters. Extremely tasty. People that are shooting this series really care about it. They choose the right lenses, the right shot, the right lighting. And not to talk about the costumes. People that are doing the costume for this series must go nuts. And the investment, it's really amazing how much money they spend on this. And sometimes they try to cut on some weird things using 3D effects, which I understand. They're already spending a ton of money, so you might want to cut here and there if a 3D effect is cheaper than the real thing. But some weird choice in the 3D department. That said, I'm enjoying it. Kind of. It's a good pastime. I'm at the last episode of season 2, and I will see the last episode tonight, and let's see what happens. Between the two people, we knew something will happen.